5 seconds remaining.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the SkinCoin WCA final matchup here for the European/CIS region, coming at you as we have two teams going at it, competing in a best of 5 to determine who gets their share of the prize pool moving forward here. Obviously, both of these teams have already qualified for the land portion of the SkinCoin WCA, so they're feeling good with that, but they're also still playing for what essentially is going to be about a $42,000 prize pool or so. I believe it comes down to about $30,000 for first place and around $15,000 for second place, so I guess it's more $35,000. Anyways, you get the point. Obviously, there's still some good money on the line here, despite both of these teams competing or already qualifying for that land spot. Speaking of that, these two teams, of course, include Empire and HellRaisers getting here after their matches from yesterday. So looking forward to having some fun today, what should be a good best of 5. This being game number 1, of course. We'll see if we go the distance or not. I am BreakyCPK, and initially here at least, I'm going to be joined by my buddy Skim. How's it going, man?
10 seconds
Hey,
remaining.
hey, yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to this. We, of course, did cast Empire versus Effect just yesterday, I believe, and then you, of course, went on to cast HellRaisers versus Kingwin. So, you know, following these teams into this finals was kind of actually really fun to watch, really. I think both teams have shown that, you know, they're actually really strong. And I mean, HellRaisers was at TI for a reason. Even if they have made a change since then, they still, you know, I think proved that they are a team that is sort of like trying to keep on forcing into that like top scene in Europe at least. So this is definitely going to be an exciting match. And like I said, this is just for money, pretty much only. I think the first place also gets seeded bonus, like a seeding bonus, basically, or better seeding at the actual land finals. So there's a little bit of there as well. But yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of money on the line, and which is kind of crazy to think about. If you go back a few years, that's like an actual tournament, right?
Yeah,
like 40,000 or whatever. That's just one entire tournament. But no, this is just a qualifier.
5 seconds.
That's a really good point, actually. I mean, it's just crazy how much it's developed in so quickly of time. But you're right. Well, what is a $50,000 prize pool on the line for just these qualifiers could have definitely been a main event finals in a lot of ways. You know, simply like 4 or 5 years ago, even less. So, but you know, that's where we're at, and I don't think anyone's necessarily complaining about that here. We got, again, 2 teams going at it. Should be a good series once again. First of a best of 5 here for today. So the draft is well underway. We have a Nature's Prophet Spirit Breaker coming out for HellRaisers, Ancient Apparition, and Sven happening for Team Empire. I mean, that is a very, very early Sven pickup. It's not often he's picked up in that 2 spot there.
It is, for sure, and it is definitely something that we haven't really seen from Empire thus far, like this kind of opening. We've seen a lot of, you know, I mean, obviously a lot of their heroes have been banned, the Lich, the Enchanters, of course, but we've also seen a lot of Night Stalker, we've seen the Bad Rider, we've seen the Void, so seeing this AA Sven combo is a little bit unusual, but perhaps they're looking to change things up. You know, this is a best of 5 after all, so if you do want to try sort of like, try different strats, maybe try a different approach, I think game 1 is pretty much the way you want to do it. But yeah, there's definitely still a lot of heroes that they would like to play, or that they have shown to be really good at, that they could pick. I'm thinking of, again, the Night Stalker as a 4-position support, even the Clockwork. So I'm actually curious how they're going to run it. And for HellRaisers, that lineup, that opener, you know, you and I, we've watched a lot of NA Dota. This looks very NA Dota. This looks very complexity, actually, with the Nature's Prophet Spirit Breaker early on.
It definitely does. And Spirit Breaker has seemed like he's been a little bit undervalued in this event, especially compared to the North American region. So it is exciting to see it here for HellRaisers and how they end up using it with it being picked up right now. So looking forward to that. Milan has actually been a quality player for this HellRaisers team in that 4 position, and I'm sure it's going to end up in his hands right here. You have kind of that global presence with that and the Nature's Prophet. You know, the idea that you can jump somebody, kind of catch them off guard, really. They're not ready for it. They're going to go Disruptor, a little more reach as well to assist. Not only a Static Storm combo with the Connect Field, but the Glimpse, of course, pullback can be fun to use after that Earth Spirit coming out, though, for Empire right here.
Yeah, they have a lot of control on HellRaiser's side, actually. A lot of teamfight control with the charge, with the Glimpse, with the Static Field, and they have obviously the global gank potential is there, of course, but then also just ways to deal with the Sven. The Sven, who most likely is going to be the carrier of the team, you know, they have a lot of ways to kite him around with the Static Field, with the Glimpse. So no, it's just very annoying, really, as a Sven. So getting that early BKB is going to be important on Team Empire. But they also have, I think, 2 good supports to deal with this as well. In a way, you know, they have the Earth Spirit that can sort of like just be a nuisance in the early game and then could create some space as well. And then AA, they have a lot of burst damage against the Nature's Prophet, against the Spirit Breaker even. And, you know, Doxia, Earth Spirit, a very deadly dual offlane if they want to run it that way. Definitely very annoying. And against the Disruptor and potentially just a Spirit Breaker, we'll see how it goes. It really depends on what kind of carry HellRaisers pick up, but generally speaking, double Iron Shell with a slow from the Earth Spirit is very, very deadly.
Yeah, it's really annoying to deal with. And so if you're HellRaisers here now, it's kind of, you know, going to get me to bring up, do they really go that hard melee core that's going to have to deal with that in the laning phase, or maybe do they get a more friendlier one? I guess Monkey King kind of works there, the idea of the Jingu stacks, and, you know, thus he gets even a little more range and also the lifesteal, so a little more survivability, sustainable, perhaps, than other core choices. So, again, possibly what they're thinking with that Monkey King pick in the safe lane.
Yeah, Monkey King definitely a good pick here actually, because he has a long range. So if they wanted to contest the Sven, for example, early on in the lane, they could potentially do that. But also just against the Iron Shell, he doesn't get harassed as much by Iron Shell as other melee cores, just because he has a lot of attack range, and then of course he does also have the Boundless Strike. So if they ever do initiate onto the Darkseer, there's a lot of things that he can contribute to the gank as well. So this is not a bad pick by any means. In fact, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially if you consider the items that Monkey King is likely going to pick up later in the game. Obviously, we've seen a couple of different builds. China, definitely, we've seen a lot of like Battle Fury builds, but I think in Europe, especially, we've seen a lot of like Shadow Blade, sometimes obviously also the Echo Saber. And those items are actually pretty good. Again, to kite around the Sven, Monkey King is a very elusive hero as well, so there's a lot of ways to deal with the Sven right now. Which is why I'm not even sure why Empire picked the Sven this early. They really leave themselves vulnerable to a lot of like counter picks, like small counter picks.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Monkey King necessarily is not a directed counter pick, you know, but they technically also already picked the Sven into 2 counter picks already, pretty much. Prophet and, I mean, there's this infamous sort of like meme where Arteezy's stuck in trees because he doesn't have a Qualifier Blade, so he dies. And that's just one of those things, you know, you definitely can get cut around in team fights. With the Treants as well, there's so many ways to block the Sven, it's actually really annoying.
And you could argue that's almost like another one right there with Decrepify. Yep. That's going to be really annoying for him. So it kind of goes back. I mean, there's some cores that are okay to pick up early on, like the Venomancer, like the Necrophils, kind of, you know, these ones that it's hard to just truly hard counter them, especially with their diversity and how you can switch them to different lanes even. But Sven, you're pretty much guaranteed to see in that one position carry role. And so it kind of sets up for this possibility. And yeah, HellRaisers really does a good job as far as building a lineup around kind of locking down the Sven and making sure he's not going to be an issue as much as possible.
I will say that obviously picking a core like this very early on, it does give you a lot of flexibility for the other cores, because then, for example, now Emperor can still pick the mid hero, right? And if they pick a mid hero that doesn't get countered by anything from HellRaisers, they win the game pretty much, or they have a very good start into the game. But unfortunately, Empire or HellRaisers have a lot of heroes that counter a lot of things. Disruptor is pretty much a counter to pretty much any mid hero. Ember Spirit, well, you want to be mobile? Guess what? I can still glimpse you. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that HellRaisers definitely can do. And while there's not a lot of control for the Ember Spirit, they basically only have to glimpse the Static Storm. I guess the Spirit Breaker as well, of course. And no, as I think about it, Monkey King's also actually pretty good against Ember Spirit because of his pure physical damage. So. And of course the Boundless Strike, the longer initiation from the Boundless Strike. So I don't know. I'm not too keen on Empire's lineup right now. I don't think they're that strong. I think it comes down to just being very aggressive in the early game, and then winning the early game as well. Though against the Spirit Breaker Nature's Prophet, that's really difficult.
That's a very tough ask, and just the whole lineup of HellRaisers is one that's ideally going to do pretty strongly in the laning phase and adapt, you know, going into that early mid-game stage. So really on Empire, it's going to have to rely on getting those stacks built up for Chappie, getting him out of control, getting him the BKB definitely as soon as possible here, and trying to just, you know, work off of that really. But it does seem like this is a bit of an outdraft almost, favoring HellRaisers. You definitely, if you didn't even know the team names or the player names, it's one of those cases. I think a lot of people would lean towards the dire draft right here for good reason. So Empire has their work cut out for them in what is game number 1 now. And we'll see how they manage. Of course, a lot of people would consider them the favorite overall, and not only to get to this point in this tournament, but even in this matchup here, no doubt, Empire, a pretty prestigious team here. But What about the matchup of Ember Spirit against Pugna? I was thinking about that. I mean, I guess in that lane, it seems like Ember Spirit's a fairly decent matchup there with that Flame Guard.
I've seen it going both ways, but in most cases, I would definitely favor the Pugna, actually, because Pugna can eat through the Flame Guard quite quickly and can harass quite a little bit with his range, of course. And he's very quick as well, so Ember Spirit cannot ever close the gap. Usually what you could do, you could posture yourself on the other hill, potentially, depending on your block, and then try to zone out the hero that way, even if it's a ranged one. But it's basically, I wouldn't say impossible, it's super difficult to actually do that against Pugna, who has a long range, and of course high movement speed, has a lot of burst, magic burst as well. So, and of course there's a Spirit Breaker, so I don't really foresee this Ember Spirit having a good time. And I mean, obviously it comes down to the Spirit Breaker versus Earth Spirit, right? The impact, so if... that's going to be difficult to assess. I think both of them can have a lot of impact in the mid lane, but I don't know. I think I definitely give it to the Pugna for now.
All right, getting a lot of roam potential from HellRaisers' side as well, from early on in the game to all throughout. So all these questions in play for Empire as far as how they're gonna handle this. But again, on paper, maybe the draft seems that way, but you do have to obviously take into consideration the players themselves and the teams going at it. And yes, they're both in the finals here, but like I said, it's without knowing the drafts, definitely Empire would be one that a lot of people would favor for good reason. So early wards put down.
One thing that worries me a lot is actually the safe lane on Empire's side. I don't expect the Earth Spirit to be here a lot, and then I think there's a lot of like I think this AA Sven can actually be very vulnerable. If they get a good camp block on HellRaiser's side, like if they block a pole camp from the AA, then he's actually really, really vulnerable. And yeah, they'll probably only have the Prophet there. I don't think you'll really want anybody else because the Prophet himself is usually sufficient and you want the experience. But generally speaking, I think there's a lot of kill potential there for HellRaisers, actually, once Spirit Breaker hits like level 3, level 4. Interesting, actually, from Bambo that he doesn't go for the build that we sort of like come to see from pretty much any Prophet that we see in NA, at least. You know, and even in Europe, actually, the Boots first and Orb of Venom. The Blightstone is a bit of an older build in that regard, because it was sort of like the thing that people used to pick up first and then realized, well, Orb of Venom kind of provides more damage, actually, consistently. So, we'll see.
That's a fair point right there. Has that Blightstone now for now, though, and perhaps has something to do with the high armor, especially on the hero like Sven. Warcry coming out. Ancient Apparition. He's going to be charged up to start right here, and they do, of course, get the bounty run on top of that. They're still going in, but actually Sexy Bambo's now in some trouble himself. He's having to run and survive against the Sven. Charge back in on Ancient Apparition. The tree's trying to finish the job. Auto attack. He's going to go for the TP play. One more auto attack needed. He can't get it off in time, though. The timing was perfect, and he gets the first blood on top of that. That was a fun exchange right there.
I don't know. This is absolutely this is classic Bambo, really. Bambo, of course, known for these sort of like plays. Sort of, you know, back in the day, he was one of those high risk, low reward kind of players. But I don't know. Sometimes there's also just a lot of like high reward plays, and getting that first blood there, really, really important for his lane. And of course, they're drawing the Earth Spirit down here as well already, which is really important for their other lanes.
Yeah, it means the middle matchup, Pugna won't have to worry about that extra harassment coming out. Just going to be able to continue to spam that Nether Blast against FN here. Well, the Ember Spirit, and we'll continue to watch how that works out for them. Disruptor is at the top lane, of course, trying his best to zone out the Darks here right here. But as you see, Monkey King keeping his distance, not being too affected by that Iron Shell necessarily, and already having a pretty decent time. But yeah, Milan's just going to camp down here for now, and you even got the creep wave coming into the tower, so going to leech some nice experience down here. And so Sven will have to back off.
It's actually pretty nice, now that I think about it. You know, keeping the Spirit Breaker here also sort of forces the Earth Spirit down here. They can't really move the Earth Spirit just yet. I think they have to wait a little bit first. Because if they move the Earth Spirit now, I think that just leaves them open to potentially losing the AA. And of course, they don't want to give them away this cold pull camp, which they look like...
Well, they're trying to initiate right here. The barrel roll kind of collapsing on top of him. The Storm Hammer on top of that, but Milan charges through. And that will be enough to not only keep his teammate alive, but they're going for a turn kill on Chappie right here. He's going to be fine too, but a lot of damage taken in return. 3 heroes coming together unable to find the kill, and Orb of Venom chase from Milan on the Earth Spirit. Unless he gets a bash proc right here, I don't think he's getting this kill necessarily. Man, he's hit him a lot of times at getting no bash procs. I want to say it's almost unlucky for Milan right there. That was a good 6 or 7 attacks even, with none thrown in there. But ultimately, Earth Spirit able to survive because of that. But yeah, again, this is really a 3 versus 2 that it seems like it's working out all right for the two heroes.
Yeah, it's just really difficult for them to deal with the treants as well. Once the treants have been summoned, it takes a long time to actually kill them. You look at them; they could just chase the A because they can't really do anything against them.
Yeah.
And then of course Bamboo is also using them to block their pass. It of course Chappie into the river, and then now he's lost like a lot of experience and last hits as well because he was unable to be in lane. So this is just a very annoying dual lane to deal with. The Spirit Breaker also really tanky, of course. Can just sit there as a frontliner sort of. So this is not easy by any means for Empire. On the other lanes though, well, they still have the Darkseer, but again, Darkseer, or Monkey King rather, is probably one of the better heroes against the Darkseer just because he doesn't get harassed or zoned out of the lane. He still hasn't even touched his regeneration. He's eaten 1 tango against the Darkseer. That's actually pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, Darkseer's finding himself jungling quite a bit, which again isn't that unnatural, but yeah, it goes back to just Monkey King's able to sustain himself pretty damn well in this matchup, so kind of favoring with that pick right there, and understandably he's 23 and 10. He's having a very, very good time. Hell, you compare that to Sven on the other side. He's only 9 and 0 right now in this game. So again, a very good start here for what seems like the Dire team. Even Spearbreaker is able to sit in the face of Sven right there and kind of harass him back before he gets some assistance from Ancient Apparition. This middle matchup, though, it's the only thing that's going slightly okay for Empire. Although this Nether Blast that's a lot of damage right there. He'll survive. But
I will say that I don't think it should be this close in mid. I mean, I've been watching it quite a little bit, and FN is just actually missing a lot of last hits. It's just as easy as that. He's missing last hits, which he shouldn't. But generally speaking, like you can already see, like FN has been eating through pretty much most of his regeneration. He actually had his bottle refilled twice by the Earth, or once by the Earth Spirit already, and he has to walk back to base. Like this is not an easy matchup for MS by any means, and it's difficult because Empire can't really dedicate the Earth Spirit either. Pugna is always going to be sitting very far back in the lane because he is just a hero like that, and they need help on this bottom lane as well, which they might at least get a kill here.
Yeah, they definitely have a kill right here. He's going to try to make some plays, but there's no way he's getting out of that one. The Golfy was up, and he goes down. Now, going to get a turn kill out of it. Nice boulder smash through. The Warcry also activated. You see the Treant still doing some work right here. Miposhka running towards J4, though, and going to force him to run the other direction. Chappie is getting a little bit lower. He throws out the stun on the trees. As Milan, the Cold Feet will not proc, but Nature's Prophet's coming in as mentioned with the TP that charges in, and Chappie, he is absolutely dead right there. So they're going to get Ancient Apparition as well, actually. I think he might have been trying to TP and got stopped in the back line. So they end up getting 2 kills in return. So sure, they kill Nature's Prophet, but the last laugh in favor of HellRaisers there.
And the Prophet even comes back for that, or for both kills, in fact. So he gets experience from both kills. Even gets the kill bounty on the Sven, so this is a very worthy trade for them. I'm not sure they can get the Sven, though. With Warcry, he's a very... Well, actually, no. With Static Field, they should be able to.
That's going to allow them to beat him down. And again, with that Blightstone pickup, and Phase Boot's already finished. He hits pretty damn hard, Chappie. Yep, he goes down. Thunderstrike will finish him for the last tick, and it's already getting pretty grim here early on for Empire, and this goes back to the draft as a whole. It's not like we didn't see this coming. This is not a hindsight thing. This is HellRaisers' pick to win these lanes, and it's happening across all 3 even.
And of course, this is where the Blightstone pays off. I totally blanked out on that when I commented on it earlier. But of course, against Sven and Warcry, it's actually a very effective item here, of course.
Yeah.
So when you do attack those supports, having that minus armor is super effective. So props to Bambo for that one. I totally missed out on that. But also, Spiritbreaker also has Orb Venom, so double Orb Venom is actually not that worth it even. So having both Orb Venom and Blightstone is just really, really strong in this duel lane.
Picture coming together right there, FN, Flame Guard. It's going to be taken off, but now the charge is coming in, and Disruptor's here as well. No Static Storm there or anything like that, so FN's going to be a little too difficult of a kill. Good job with the Searing Chains as well. Spiritbreaker was charging in, but yeah, without a Static Field, that's going to be a very tough kill considering he's level 6. On top of that, Pugna level 7, though, you kind of see the level advantage that he has currently. Oh, that Life Drain, that's actually going to do a lot of damage. Doesn't get the kill, but now Kaiser is in a little bit of trouble. Miposhka Going to be glimpsed backwards, though. Milan charging in, and now Maposhka perhaps could get turned on. Any bash procs coming out here? So far, not yet. There we go. He gets a bash, and Trian comes in. Nature's Prophet, that is. He TPs in, gets one, gets two on Ancient Apparition. Another double kill for Sexy Bamboo. They are going to lose the Pugna in a response right here, but now FN's in trouble. He does not have a Fire Remnant ready to go, and these auto attacks of Sexy Bamboo are definitely adding up. The Trian's not dealing assisted damage, though. He's a little bit too fast. Now Milan's in trouble. Great boulder smash from Maposhka. Hits 3 heroes. Gets the kill on Spear Breaker. Sexy Bamboo trying to finish off FN. In the meantime, one more auto attack. No, the Fire Remedy goes right into Monkey King, though. And the Balance Strike will finish him off. The fight continues. Sexy Bamboo on the run. The Primal Spring in, though. The body blocks are there from J4. As Gossic's going to search after him. The Iron Shell, no, it's not up, but the boulder smash will allow him to get the kill. But at what cost? They lose 2 more. What a fight right there. It lasted a good minute.
Pretty much everybody was involved in this fight, and pretty much everybody died as well, except for the Disruptor and the Monkey King.
Right.
This was a wild chase, and at the end of the day, I still think it very much favors actually the dire side, because again, Monkey King survives. He's involved in a couple of kills this early on. Pugna gets a kill at the end there. Yeah, sure, Bamboo dies, but he also got a double kill in the beginning. So for them, very well worth it. And if you look at the net worth, it's definitely worth it for them. Might even get another one on Chappie down here.
Yeah. He's in some trouble now. He's running the other direction. But, oh, that's already a drums pickup from Sexy Bamboo. They're going to easily run after him. Nether Blast. That'll finish the job. I mean, this start for HellRaisers, already having the early drums. And he's going to continue pressure in this bottom lane. Nothing is going that great for Empire, maybe outside of the Ember Spirit, but even that, he even went the Iron Talon. Whenever you see an Ember Spirit going Iron Talon middle lane, it's you know that that's a I need to recover style item at this point. So, oh no, is he in trouble too again? No, he's fine.
They would have had to time the glimpse perfectly, and you could see FN was actually holding on to his jump because he knew they would, you know, if they do pop the glimpse, that he can still jump afterwards. But it's just very difficult to kill an Ember Spirit like that. Oh, top Monkey King should be fine, I think.
Well, yep.
He is fine, alright.
He's Monkey King, of course. The full Jingu Mastery, yeah, you're not killing him. Gostic, he's also dead. That's the auto attack from 3-3 to finish the job. Yeah, I mean, he got low, but once that Balance Strike came out and Jingu stacks, he goes back nearly full and kills them as well. So 9.5 minutes, and we have a 12-4 hero kill lead already for HellRaisers. But old top 3 farming net worth in the game, and it's a pretty significant lead too. I mean, this is a 5,000 lead at 9.5 minutes. You do not often see that at a point in the game like this.
This is pretty crazy. And like I said, you know, the Iron Talon on the Ember Spirit already pretty telling that he needs to catch up in form. Sure, sometimes you even pick up a casual one, but nah, most of the time it is really telling that, you know, you're just having a really bad game. And that's pretty much accounts for every core. Like, none of the cores had a great game. And well, it's not like the supports had a great game either.
Yeah.
Poshka probably dead again. He makes it over there.
Oh yeah, he's gonna escape, but now FN, did he overcommit? Overstay his welcome, the life drain, they burn through the flame guard. He has a fire remnant, but he can't get it off, and he ends up going down right there. Didn't have mana to make the play. Milan, he's diving in. It just keeps going for HellRaisers right now. It's not going to go too far, though. There's still the first tower up, but actually is going to be dropped right there. Arcane Rune active on Pugna throughout all this as well, so even that much more value after what just happened. He, of course, picked up that field at Discord very early on. And now bottom lane, Sexy Bamboo ports in with a charge from Spearbreaker, the Wrath of Nature, that double damage rune. It's not going to be enough. Good decision by Chappie to TP out when he did, because a second later he possibly dies right there himself. But he has to regen now. He can't farm in the meantime.
If you're a Sven, it has to feel so bad right now that you have to TP out a situation like that, because you can't stand against a single Nature's Prophet. And this is just very difficult for them. I think they have the right response. They're smoking up on the Ember Spirit and the Earth Spirit, the only ones that can't really do anything at this stage of the game. And possibly, yeah, with this Iron Shell, maybe they can find a kill on the Monkey King. Though this is not an easy kill still. They should be able to get him, because he's very far out and he's very much alone. But oh no, he gets out of there!
That perfect timing. It's like right as he gets touched by the barrel. Nope. Leaping away.
Oh, and in the meantime, they're stealing the Sven stack, the Ancient stack.
Oh,
they're attempting to anyway.
Yeah, that would be insane, though, if they manage that. By the way, middle lane, Sven, he's going to be disarmed due to that Decrepify that we talked about. It's a great ability against Sven for a couple of reasons, and now they're going to go back and steal the stack. And if they steal the stack, I mean, how does Sven actually get back into this game right now? That's a tough task.
Monkey King top cannot cannot jump to a tree. This should be his death.
Well,
Well, as I said, that Spirit Breaker's coming in.
4 seconds on Boundless Strike. He's fine, dude. 1 second.
He's actually fine.
Boundless Strike. There you go. You're fine. And here comes that charge from Spirit Breaker. He'll connect on a Darkseer. Monkey King going to be rooted out by the Searing Chains, but he's going after it. No more Boundless Strike just yet. He's going to go for the TP's Gothic. Bash Brock. Ooh, not in time, but yeah, he survives, and they're still stealing the Ancients over here meanwhile. Although Sexy Bamboo
might die here.
He is going to die. Look at that bounty for Ancient Apparition. 550 gold. That goes to show you how far ahead
J4
they
dies
are.
as well.
And they take him out, and they're going to get the rest of these.
They get the big ones anyway. So this is pretty good for Empire. And if you look at the swing, yeah, that's 300 gold for this Sven. Pretty strong. Though again, losing top lane or losing 2 heroes for not getting the Monkey King is still pretty bad for them.
Look at the item choice by Monkey King, by the way, too, and also reason as to why he was able to survive up there. Going that early Hooded Defiance. I see cores do this occasionally. It's almost like we're ahead. It's like a we're ahead item, and it's going to help us keep ahead because you're just insanely difficult to kill.
Yeah, especially against a lineup such as Empires, which definitely relies on their magic damage in this mid game, because their only physical damage output is a Sven, and he obviously doesn't have any items. So this is actually a really good item investment. And like you said, if he didn't have that hood, he probably would have died earlier. But with this, it makes him much more tanky and a much more difficult target to kill as well.
Mm-hmm. Sexy Bamboo farming out the bottom jungle. He's well on his way to a full Orchid even. Has one of the Oblivion staffs right here. As Ember Spirit kind of checking in, seeing what's going on. And so you see Ember, that inventory is looking decent right now, but for 14 minutes into the game almost, that's where you realize, oh, well, he's behind, but he's trying. He's going to be going to Yields here with his first item pickup, it looks like.
It just really sucks as an Ember Spirit to play behind in a game like this, against opponents like this. Maybe they get this profit.
Oh no, I heard that Nether Strike going on to FN. The Static Storm combo as well. Boulder Smash on through is going to delay some of this damage and allows Ember Spirit to escape. But now Milan in the back lines are sitting on top of Vanskir. Get the Bash Brock, more auto attacks. He takes an Ice Blast to the face. He gets a kill, but he might die in response. However, Monkey King going for more. The Boundless Strike connects on to FN, and it's going to keep him just close enough. Oh, the Sprout was a little bit awkward, but FN's not getting out of here. More tree spawn on the Decrepify. Buddy, Kaiser wanted it himself, damn it. He'll take it. And he gets a double kill. Again,
unfortunately for Empire, they can't really take... I mean, I think they have the right idea. They want to gank somebody, but HR read that perfectly, pretty much. It was also pretty obvious because they have good vision on Empire or on HR side, so they know that, alright, nobody's farming there, nobody's pushing those lanes. Well, yes, they're trying to gank somebody, and having the profit there, some sort of bait, in fact, was a really strong play, and with the item advantage, it just makes it almost easy to kill Empire at this stage.
Yeah. That's a tier 2 tower kill. Again, 15 minutes into the game. I find myself looking at that clock quite a bit and having to remind how still early on it is, but HellRaisers just so farmed across the map at 10,000 net worth Lady Sima Poshka. Gonna scout out J4 here with an Invis rune, but you also have Milan nearby. As Ancient Apparitions here, that Boulder Smash goes through. They do catch Milan, and there is a kill happening for Empire, so obviously a nice kill for them to take, but more spread out farm happening. Sven just cleans his own jungle up.
That's almost 600 gold actually for the Radiant side, just killing a support Spirit Breaker. That's pretty insane. Huh. I think, yeah, that's like a 340 gold kill bounty for the AA alone. This just goes to show how far behind they are. I mean, the Spirit Breaker is almost as much net worth as their own Darkseer. So Empire, as any kills that they can get at this stage, they'll have to take. And they're picking top lane, but unfortunately for them, nobody's there.
No. They were going on Sven actually down here, but Chappie does a good job of picking up that something was happening. I mean, look at how deep this ward is here in the middle lane from the Dire side already.
And it gives them so much vision, because knowing when somebody's going to go farm into the jungle is really important, and obviously, you know, just if somebody's behind the tier 2, obviously you can even scout out smokes potentially behind the tier 2 tower as well, so that's a really good ward. Very difficult to de-ward because you can't really ever expect it. So this is just HR also just, you know, if they do push the tower like they do right now, it gives them crucial vision behind the tower as well.
Yeah.
So they should be able to get this tier 2. They have to be careful though not to give away the Prophet, who almost TP top, but I think now it's pretty obvious that there's a trap top.
Dire's top tower has
Yeah,
fallen.
you don't want to pick a fight up there at this point. I mean, double damage run on Ember Spirit currently, so don't give them the chances to, you know, win a fight possibly. Just instead, keep pushing objectives yourselves and keep furthering that lead that you have if you're HellRaisers. So that's going to be another Tier 2 middle tower. We only have the top one remaining before all outer towers are destroyed here at 17 minutes into the game. Top lane, Monkey King is going in. Defense here with Miposhka. Here's that play. Any response enough? Here comes Pugna. And again, Monkey King's tanky with the Hood of Defiance, and I think they're seeing that right here. Boundless Strike comes out. He's got the Jing of the lifesteal kicking, and Ice Blast is falling through. It might hit one, but a turn onto both. And everyone's going to stay alive up here most likely. As, yeah, Pugna, he is good. Yeah, that's that Hood of Defiance coming into play, man. For Monkey King right there.
Hood of Defiance, Magic Wand, Ring of Aquila, so many stats items, and then of course the regeneration from the Magic Wand also helping out there. It's I really feel for Empire because you just know their pain because they're struggling. They're trying these things which in theory, yeah, they're great on paper, but it's so difficult to kill a Monkey King really, and they might even just lose the Dogs here like this as well. Orchid already on Bambo, so he can't even surge out.
That Orchid use right there, I think that might be the first time that he's used it actually this game, just getting it recently, but now showing that off, and that's just another tool that you're like, oh, God, are you kidding me? If you're Empire here, and like you're suggesting, I mean, you definitely feel for Empire, but at the same time, again, this wasn't a secret, man. Like, they threw themselves into this draft, and nothing against, I mean, obviously HellRaisers did a great job of counter-drafting, of drafting their own right, and making it work, but this is why you don't see second pick Svens first off in these drafts.
And if you do, they usually play it around by, you know, picking something that sort of makes up for the weaknesses that Sven has, and I guess in some regards they sort of did with the Docs here, you know, with the mech and the surge kind of like mitigate the kiting issue, but overall I just don't think that was enough, and like it's not even the Sven by himself, but also the AA Sven, so basically HR know what kind of dual lane to expect. They know that they can exploit it, and they can go in on that Spirit Pick profit, and then maybe even pick a little bit greedy on the other lanes, because they know, well, if anything, they only have like one really dangerous roamer, and it was the Earth Spirit, and they were able to keep the Earth Spirit bottom as well, so Earth Spirit was actually never able to roam, and if you look at his levels, he's only about to hit level 8, and actually like a minute ago he was only level 5 as well, so it's not great for this Earth Spirit this game.
I love
if he gets out of there, maybe it could be nice.
Well, Sven's running in, actually. They do get the Qualifier proc on Monkey King, but he just got the Solar Crest to go with a pipe pickup even, but he's not going to be able to survive through that. So he's not unkillable, as we saw right there, and that was almost a little silly from 3-3 to dive as much as he did without team support nearby. But he gives up a bounty of 555 gold to Chappie of all the players, and that's probably the worst case scenario if you're HellRaisers, so you want to be careful on doing that too many more times.
Oh, for sure, and this is definitely something that Empire always has going for them with this kind of lineup. Is, you know, the sort of like comeback potential. They do have Dogs here. They do have Sven, AA. Like that's like prime. That's prime team combo potential right there. Vacuum, AA blast into 5-man cleave. That's like highlight reel potential. And together with the Ember Spirit as well, they have the split push. They have the gank potential. Like there's definitely ways for Empire to come back into this, but I feel like they drafted themselves into this position from the get-go. And they do have definitely that comeback potential, but at the same time, I think it also depends on an HR to sort of like make mistakes. Like that kill right there, sure, Empire did well in getting that kill, but it's also just 3-3 overstepping his boundaries.
Yeah.
So if HR don't give them an inch like that, it's going to be difficult for Empire to find a true opening. Though they do have the high ground defense, which you got to give to them.
That's true. Ice Blast is going to hit Milan right here, and possibly going to set up the kill on him, it looks like. You got Kaiser nearby. Hood, that's a pipe going up even, so actually Milan's going to live a little bit longer. He does go down though, he got the Nether Blast off. That Nether Ward is down, the suck onto, that was Darkseer off to the side, meanwhile coming up from Pugna, finishes him off, and Earth Spirit also ends up going down himself, so a 2-for-1 exchange there in favor of HellRaisers. Sven did pop God Strength for that, kind of got there late though, and now he's going to back off and trying to farm elsewhere. He almost has the BKB finished at least.
Well, that's actually pretty good for him. Yeah. Oh, well, no, it's not quite there yet. He's still missing the recipe.
Yeah, almost.
Kaiser has the BKB, though, which is really strong. I love this itemization from him. Realizing that pretty much everything that, or the only things that can kill him are pretty much just lockdown and magic damage. Like, the Sven is not going to touch him in this entire, for the next 20 minutes, probably. So this is a strong item pickup for him. Gonna make it very difficult for them to really focus these cores, which they tried. The Ember Spirit jumped in and tried to go into the Pugna, but then he realized, well, he has a BKB. I can't do shit anymore, so he jumped out. And this is going to be even more difficult once the BKBs come up on the other cores as well. Bambo is going to pick one up. I'm sure 3-3 is going to pick one up as soon as he has his Diffusal Blade. So, with the Aegis as well, I think Empire need to find like a really good opener where they potentially pick off, say, the Pugna or the Bambo off guard. I just don't see them taking a fight head-on right now.
Yeah, Aegis on Pugna, you definitely do not want to be picking a fight when you're down 13,000 net worth. You kind of just have to get those pickoffs. And bottom lane right now, Nature's Prophet, he is by himself. You see Chappie pinging him out. Can't get a solo gun. Maybe God's Strength. He's going to go for this. Doesn't have an Echo say. He barely is able to pop Mask of Madness at the last second right there as he gets away, but no. Auto attack is enough, actually. So there's a nice find. And that's, look at that bounty. 700 gold for the Sven right there. That really is just yet another example of how far ahead the Dire team is. But that's the mechanic that will allow you to kind of make a comeback potential. In this case, if you are Empire. So good find from Chappie. He's got the BKB now, and he has his Blink queued up, which no doubt is going to be a very powerful item in this game. But HellRaisers, they'd probably be smart to just push tier 3 here as they are.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if this was technically a good trade for Empire, because now HR know that the ultimate on the Sven is down, so they can push high ground. And Prophet, it's a Prophet, so Prophet can always TP back in 7 seconds. So they do have this time window, what, 20 seconds roughly, where they know they can push high ground without Sven having ultimate.
Here he comes. Nature's Prophet ports in. So he's going to be here to assist now as well.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Well, this Invis rune on FN could be strong.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they scouted it out just yet.
Top tower
oh, he's pushing top. That's what Nature's Prophet is. I was like, where is he? So yeah, he's up here, making them, forcing them to make a decision. They get the bottom tier 3. FN, man. He is deep. He's not going to be found, though, and they're actually back off to HellRaisers. So they're satisfied with their tier 3, and he likes seeing that decision at the same time because we've seen so many times where teams will kind of force the lead and be like, all right, let's just kind of go, rather than playing it safe and backing off now.
And they pretty much got more than they could have gotten already anyway.
Ooh, that Boundless Strike hits. That's probably a dead Ember Spirit there, but he does get away. So could escape from him, a little too slippery. This Monkey King build, though, I like how he had the Diffusal queued up after the Hood of Defiance, and he doesn't even have it yet because he went a full pipe into a Solar Crest first. But now he has that coming here. But yeah, definitely shows you a way to adapt to how the game's going with a build like this.
I like it because it makes him sort of like a frontline tank, if anything, and just sitting there in the front and soaking up a lot of experience, soaking up a lot of spells. Gives the Pugna and the Prophet a lot of space to sort of like hit people. But of course, going also the Pipe and the Solar Crest, while those are just also making him tankier in general, also help his team. He can, if he wants to, of course, use the Solar Crest on somebody else. The Pipe, of course, is a team ability or a team item in that sense. So this is actually a really strong pickup. I wonder why Kaiser can just do what he's doing.
Well, now they go. And they will drop him, so you're right. He's definitely killable, but can they kill him a second time? Ice Blast coming out. Kaiser is in some trouble right here, although he does pop the BKB before. 3-3, the vacuum's going to stop that Wukong's command, and they're going to end up dropping Disruptor in the midst of this. He got a Static Storm down at least. The BKB's up from Chappie, and now he's sitting on top of that Monkey King. Monkey King's melting away. He's stunned by the Cold Fate. He'll end up falling, and now Milan has to be careful. Pugna in the back lines is able to run away for the time being, puts the Decrepify up on Sven. Now, while this is happening, Nature's Prophet is split pushing the top lane, and he actually got the racks on top of it already, so they're going to lose Milan too, but you look at the damage he did. He got the melee racks as well as a tier 3 tower, and Sexy Bamboo gets away. So although that fight looked like that was favoring Empire, that was kind of the plan from HellRaisers. Full distraction there.
It was the plan, but I think if you're Empire, you're almost okay with that trade. Obviously it sucks, and going forward it's going to be even worse if you do trade like this again. But I think with Ember Spirit and Sven, you can definitely deal with being racks down. Even an entire lane of racks, it's not really that big of an issue. But getting those kills, getting the experience from those kills is actually really important because their heroes have been notoriously underfarmed, underleveled. And suddenly, you know what? There's like a level 2 AA ultimate now coming in, level 2 Earth Spirit ultimate potentially coming in as well. And then Sven is suddenly level 19, has BKB, Blink, Mask of Madness working on a Battle of Fury next. Like, this is actually not bad for Empire right now.
Never refuse gold.
Yeah, I like how he casually just said that he's working on a Battle Fury next. He's working on a Battle Fury next, but I assume that has to do with the Nature's Prophet especially, and trying to help just cleave down in these fights in general. I mean, it's not often we see this late of a Battle Fury on any hero, but Sven looking to pick it up here. But it makes sense to you, though?
I can understand his rationale behind it. You know, like you said, with the Prophet in general, you expect to be pushed in a lot because of the racks that you're down, and potentially, you know, you're expecting another set of racks to fall potentially next. So it helps him be consistently pushing out those lanes and be even more, well, just a better farmer in general. You know, speed up his farm. But generally speaking, I would much rather prefer Daedalus. I just don't really like the Battle Fury this late.
Oh, they found a free kill right there on Disruptor.
Deleted.
What did you learn?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically two-shot at that point. I mean, I guess the idea is also, though, to be fair, you already have the greater cleave for this, technically. But yeah, Battle Fury on top, of course, amps it that much more, where you vacuum them in. You know, you get the Ice Blast on top, and you blow them up with a couple of auto attacks from Sven.
The thing is, if you do get that combo, it would be much more effective if you had more damage, more so than cleave damage. If you just have that, if you have the Daedalus instead, that's more effective than the Battle Fury. So I think it's potentially just to accelerate his farm. I don't know. I'm not even sure why. I don't think it's a good item here. I'll gladly be proven wrong, especially in this game. So if they win and it's because of the Battle Fury, hooray! But I think the Daedalus would just make much sense. Or even the Bloodthorn, honestly. Bloodthorn against the HellRaisers lineup isn't bad either. Those BKBs are going to be dropping down to 5 seconds soon. And if you can Bloodthorn and Pugna, well, it's pretty strong, actually.
You do have the Solar Crest. You're also dealing with a Monkey King for the evasion, so there's a little bit of that, at least, at this point. Nature's Prophet has an Assault Curios. Just about finished, actually. Well, there's a little bit of room to go, but he's got the big item in the Hyperstone already. And trying to finish that before another big push happens, I'm sure. Pugna. Obviously, he's had that Ags now for a while. 1,500 gold saved up. Possible fight here. They're smoked up. FN, they're going in. Both the Spirits. They're going to catch Disruptor. At least Wukong's command from the uphill, though. On this Monkey King, Kaiser is being set on by Sven. Going to be pushed back, though, from the Spirit Breaker. They take out the Earth Spirit and the Ember Spirit. Kaiser just running away with the BKB chap. He's trying to chase, but he's realizing he's being kited heavily. And the Kinetic Field does barely trap him in. And now Chappie's in a lot of trouble. The Suck comes out with the Life Drain, and he will end up falling. Milan credit for it. And he's dead for 70 seconds. He does have a buyback, and so does Ember. But nice response from HellRaisers there.
They didn't even get the Prophet, the Disruptor or the Spirit Breaker.
You're right.
I think it was a bit risky to just go in high ground without any vision. I don't think they had vision. I think they only knew that somebody walked up there because of the one ward. But they didn't know who else was up there as well, so that was super risky.
There's the range racks going down bottom lane. Double buyback, though, as you heard. I'm a little surprised HellRaisers are still hanging in there, to be frank. That Nether Ward's still shocking a lot of people with the great vacuum wall coming out. They get one kill on Disruptor, although he static stormed before. 3-3 will fall, though. But Kaiser, again, in the backline, sitting with that life drain. He has that Ag, so can freely use that. Doing plenty to Chappie. He gets away, though. Turns on him, Milan. Here comes Sexy Bambo, trying to finish this off. Life drain McCann. That will be a dieback on Sven. No, he barely lives. No, he does not. The burn is enough. And Sexy Mambo credit for the kill, but now you have Nature's Prophet. He's trying to run away. He's going to be killed off, though, and all of a sudden it's just Kaiser versus the world right here. We're going to see true power of Pugna. He does take out the Earth Spirit. Another blast goes down. More life drain to use, of course. Another buyback happening. Nature's Prophet and Monkey King buyback. Nature's Prophet going to be looking to TP back in, I'm sure, and now he is here all of a sudden. So Kaiser going to stay alive. He gets blocked out. There's a Suck on advance. Go up to the side, and this melee Rax is most certainly falling now unless the vulnerability can save it. But diebacks on both the Ember and the Sven. And now HellRaisers trying to finish the game right here, right now.
AA, because he was the sole survivor, got over 2k gold out of this fight. It's, God, Empire. I think it comes back to the draft and the laning stage. Even with the draft, I think they could have potentially salvaged it if they had a better laning stage. But because of the draft, it was really difficult to have a good laning stage in the first place. And then I think HellRaisers just played it so much better. Giving up that getting that first blood early on and not getting the Prophet was actually a huge thing, because it sort of set the tone of the laning stage. Because then Earth Spirit knew, well, I kind of have to be down here, otherwise they're going to keep on killing the Prophet, or not the Prophet, the AA, or potentially the Sven. And that just bought so much space for the other lanes. Darkseer was always going to lose his lane pretty much, but Ember Spirit, of course, again, also pretty much was going to lose his lane without any help, and he still did pretty well. So it just comes down to that safe lane losing so hard, and then of course, because it is a Prophet Pugna, lineup on HellRaisers' side. They immediately just take tower after tower, map control over map control, and I gotta give it to HellRaisers. I think they just drafted the better team and they executed it much better as well.
It looks pretty good. They absolutely did, and yeah, we could talk about Empire, how maybe just not thinking enough about the draft, especially with that second pick Sven. But you got to give credit where credit is due to HellRaisers specifically in terms of reacting and then also executing with the draft that they made happen. I mean, you see Pugna 14-1-10, very impressive score for him, but obviously a great team effort across the board.
Yeah, there were, for example, a couple of smoke gangs, right, where we pointed out that, maybe this is something where they can do something, but ultimately it was just also HellRaisers responding correctly, reading the fact that, well, we don't see anybody in the map, so they have to be smoke ganging. Let's just stick behind the Prophet, and then they responded to a gank, turn it around, get like 2 to 3 kills, and then immediately take a tower as well. So, yeah, sure, maybe they have a draft advantage, but they also play it out much better than Empire did with their own lineup. So huge props to them. But this is a best of 5 after all. This is still Team Empire. They are a strong team. I expect to see a much better Empire in Game 2.
Absolutely. That's a big thing to remind people of, so I'm glad you did. It is a best of 5, so this game number 1, we still at least have 2 more games, though. And again, I would not be surprised if more than that, pending Empire at least winning one of them. So game number 2 going to be coming up, though. You're tuning into the SkinCoin WCA. This is the European region finals here. Again, competing for a nice portion of money. Both teams already qualifying for the land here. If you type !SkinCoin in chat, you can find out information on the giveaway that we're currently doing. As well as if you go to skincoin.org, you can check out the latest cryptocurrency on the esports market, trading your favorite Dota 2 and CSGO skins. Again, that is skincoin.org. Game number 2 going to be coming up on BreakyCPK, joined by Skim here. We'll be right back.